Hello there. The British Chaos Prime Minister Johnson is stepping down from office and perhaps reinventing himself. When he took office in July 2019, Queen Elizabeth asked her 14th Prime Minister a question that had certainly been causing the monarch a headache for a long time. She couldn't really understand why anyone would actually want this job. Boris Johnson's answer has not been handed down, and a good three chaotic, crisis ridden years later, marked by a triumphant election victory and numerous scandals, the balance of his term in office not only leaves this question unanswered. Incidentally, the fact that the then new head of government shared this detail of his very first audience with the public was a first indication of the special nature of this politician. What did he care about the convention, according to which weekly meetings between British heads of government and the Queen are subject to strict confidentiality on both sides? Johnson had never cared for custom or regulation. At 10 Downing Street, he saw no reason to do anything about it. His government actions often came across as rebellious teenagers' provocations against the all adult world. No coincidence, believes Johnson biographer Andrew Gimson, because he says he deliberately infuriated his opponents with calculated tastelessness that they could no longer think straight. The author of an amusing book about all prime ministers since 1721 sees Johnson in the tradition of Benjamin Disraeli. Like his illustrious predecessor, who lived from 1804 to 81, Johnson instinctively appealed to those parts of the population who like to make fun of pompous bosses and model boys. It's not for nothing that the corresponding word prigs is phonetically very close to pricks, that means idiots. With snappy wit and tousled hair that believes a sharp political mind, Johnson made it into office as Brexit Prime Minister. He played an important, perhaps decisive role in the referendum to leave the EU in 2016. The fact that he showed his country the way out of the Brexit maze is an important achievement. The narrow result had to be implemented in order to pacify the torn nation. That is why Johnson did not complete Brexit for a long time. On the contrary, as time goes on, the diverse problems that come with a divorce from the European unification project are becoming ever clearer. Johnson's handling of the pandemic is similarly ambiguous. He himself likes to point out, and kind of rightly so, the exemplary fast British vaccination program and the effective help for companies and citizens. More critical minds recall that the first lockdown in March 2020 came far too late, with more than 20,000 dead, according to serious estimates. In addition, the government threw billions around in a panic in search of protective clothing, too many of which disappeared into the wrong pockets. The numerous lockdown parties broke his neck as well. However, Johnson was not a mini Trump, as critics claim, because he gave the caring state an important role. However, this should be compatible with traditional conservative values, such as disciplined budget management and belief in the market. And that has always remained an open question with Johnson. The failed Prime Minister will occupy the imagination of his party friends and the British public for a long time to come, primarily thanks to Boris Johnson himself. Already in the bitter resignation speech at the beginning of July, he fueled a silly stab in the back legend. A hard core of Johnson ultras is said to have formed among the Tories in the House of Commons, who want to pave the way for the return of the deposed man. And it's quite realistic. In a recent poll, 51% of members thought his resignation was wrong. So will the Berlusconi phenomenon be a reality that former Foreign Aid Secretary and harsh Johnson critic Rory Stewart fears? Like Silvio Berlusconi, who failed after a short term in office, Bojo could also return to the highest party in government office. But will Johnson's 2019 alliance of rude Tories and the country's prosperous South and the Brexit enthusiastic former Labour annex still stand? Nah. Perhaps Johnson would rather pursue a lucrative career as a keynote speaker, columnist, and an author of books, such as a long planned biography of Shakespeare. The outgoing Prime Minister told his circle of friends that he urgently needs to make hay, as he puts it. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.